Hi. Drinking a beer tonight. It's going to hang. Hi, Sharon. I'm Alton. How are you? Just finishing up loading out of Greenville, South Carolina. Hey, everybody. Well, hello. Hi. What watch are you wearing on your book cover? That is a early 40s Rolex Bubbleback. The Bubbleback, of course, named. I'm trying to do better with the lighting tonight. The Bubbleback, of course, named for the fact that there was an automatic, one of the early Rolex automatic movements, and they had to make kind of a big dome on the back of the watch in order to hold the rotor. So it was called Bubbleback. It was a very early movement from Rolex, automatic movement. Anyway, hi guys. I decided not to turn on the overhead light. Hello from Chicago. Nice. Sherry and Brian say hi. Hi. Looking fancy. Oh, yeah, I'm wearing a nice little kind of double-breasted action going tonight, so that I don't look like a complete ruffian. I never drink beer, but we have Mexican food from a local place in Greenville as after show food. So I decided to break down, and I'm probably going to belch a lot. I haven't had a beer in a really long time because I'm more of a cocktail guy. Son-in-law stood in line to get your autograph. Well, I hope he's not disappointed. Where did he stand in line? Well, I had some people outside the bus tonight. That happens sometimes. Can't wait to see me in Mobile. I hope that folks will come in Mobile. I've never played Mobile, and I know that it's right after Mardi Gras. The light on my poster is not very good. And if I do that, the light on me is not very good, is it? Because it's this mirror that I'm trying to deal with. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. Hope you're having an amazing day. Thank you very much. Hi from Florida. Hi. We played a bunch of shows in Florida. We're in South Carolina, and tonight we will roll out for Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm wearing my laminate. This gets me in places, and I'm number one. I mean, not really, but when you're the person whose name is on the marquee, you get the number one. Anyway, haircut soon. Yeah, would you please leave me alone about the haircut? I've been trying to get a haircut for a damn month, and if more people in the haircutting industry were like available from time to time, I'd already have a haircut. So yeah, I'm sorry I look like shit. I know I look like shit. It's not my choice. How was the show? Show was good. The crowds in Greenville are always wonderful. It's a great town, by the way. If you haven't spent time in Greenville, in South Carolina, it's a really great town. I get confused sometimes because day after tomorrow we play Greensboro, North Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina. Anyway, I'm looking at how many push-ups can you do? I don't know. I haven't counted lately. I know that I used to do 100, but I can't do 100 anymore. Hell, I bet I'd be lucky to get 40. You're going to plan to do a show in Vermont sometime? Well, we used to tour and play Burlington, which is most certainly Vermont, but we have not been able to secure scheduling there. Usually we have to be able to play upstate New York and then jump across and play Vermont, but it hasn't happened this time. Was the CBS morning interview as painful as it looked? Because that was a master class in keeping your cool. It was fine. I didn't know that, the subject of the show was going to be Taylor Swift and Pop-Tarts, but that's what they wanted to talk about. You wish I knew us in Greenville early. I'm sorry about that. Just got our tickets for a show at Fox Theater, Detroit. What a house. I mean, I'm from Atlanta, so I'm supposed to say, the Fox in Atlanta. No, the Fox in Detroit is the bomb. It's the best of them. The one in St. Louis is great. There's one in California, but the one in Detroit, that's badass. Just pulled banana bread out of the oven, used blueberries and chocolate chips in the mix. What would you throw into the next batch? I don't know, more bananas? I actually use dried banana chips in mine, which I think makes things really interesting. Orange County, yeah. Isn't that where Costa Mesa is? Because we've got a show in Costa Mesa. Costa Mesa is in Orange County, isn't it? That's near the end of the tour. But just go to altonbrownlive.com and you can see all of our tour dates. They'll just pop right up like on magic. And if you want to see our book signing events along the way, go to my website, altonbrown.com. When you get to the home screen, there's a picture. There's a big pile of books. Click on the books and you'll get all of that. Wait. No, I don't. I'm not going to talk about that. I don't have any right to talk about that. Ever had Pambasso, yes. Can you confirm it's in the top 5 sandwiches? Top 10. I don't know about the top 5. Come do a show. I can't say that word. Banana chips. Yes. Rough connection. Sorry, nothing I can do about it. We're so the way that things work on the bus is that there's this router that goes back and forth between a Verizon card and an AT&T card, and it's got a timer on it, and a speed timer for the signal, and it'll switch between them depending on how the signal's going. But the problem is when it makes that switch, it creates a glitch. Did I make my Spotify playlist? No, but I'm working on it. I'm working on my playlist. I'm doing a playlist of all the music that I'm listening to while I'm on the road. I've never made, I think, no, that's not true. I did make a playlist public one time, but I will hopefully have that done by tomorrow, and I will put that up because I'd love to be able to share that with you guys. Wait, how long did it take you to sign your books at Barnes & Noble? Well, I don't know which Barnes & Noble you're talking about, but typically a book signing at Barnes & Noble, if it's during this tour, usually they only sell about 225 tickets. Books. It's a ticket that gets you a book. It's not like a ticket for a show. And that usually takes like a couple of hours. Favorite caviar? I'm a really big fan of Marshallburg Farms. That's a caviar operation out on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I can't remember exactly what town it's in, but it's Marshallburg, and you can follow them online. And they are a pretty wonderful caviar house. They do it right there, and they also sell smoked sturgeon because, of course, if you're going to harvest caviar, there's going to be a dead sturgeon laying around, right? So they smoke that sturgeon meat and sell it, and it's pretty freaking fantastic. I poked myself tonight with the probe from a ThermoWorks instant read thermometer about a good quarter-inch in to the flesh during the show. I missed folding it up and had to figure out how to stop bleeding while I was on stage. That was fun. How much do you charge for your John Hancock? I don't charge for my John Hancock. We charge, if we're selling books from my website, we charge for personalization and then shipping. I don't think that and we charge for shipping because we have to, because we're not like Amazon, but then we're also not going to throw it over your fucking fence in the middle of the rain. What did you temp out at? I'm supposed to know what that means, but I can't for the life of me think of what that means. Favorite high protein snack? Sardines, canned sardines. Why did you grow your hair back? Everybody's like criticizing my hair because I wanted to look like Doc Brown. I don't know why. I got tired of shaving it. My favorite Good Eats episode is The House That Dripped Chocolate. I have an autographed poster and book from the website. That poster, if you're talking about the chicken or the bowler, is an exquisite piece of work. Really nice paper too. Any thoughts on today's politics? No, I don't think about politics because I don't look at politics. I can't do anything about it, so I don't bother keeping up. I don't know anything. My wife occasionally will let something drop that I didn't know, and sometimes it's mortifying. Like she told me the other day that Marco Rubio was the Secretary of State, and I literally fell out. I was like, are you serious? I thought she was joking me. Well, ever homebrew beer again? I like homebrewed beer. Favorite way to cook rice? So I have a method on my website. And actually, I should go look it up because I don't want to give you the wrong name. So I'm going to go off camera here. Hold on. Because it's called altonbrown.com. And I'm going to cook hit on stop, go away. Pop-ups. Why are there pop-ups on my menu? Rice. I forget what I call this, but I really like this method. Rice in a rush is actually what the recipe is called. But I love this method because what you do is I think that it's the proportion is 2-to-1. If I remember correctly, you have to look it up on my website, Rice in a Rush. But what you do is you saute rice in a saucepan with ghee or butter while you're bringing the water to a boil in like an electric kettle. And after the rice, after you really start to smell that popcorn smell, that means the rice is really hot. You kind of park the lid barely off the side, and you pour in the water all at once. Clamp on the lid best you can and drop the heat to the lowest setting that you have, and that rice will be absolutely perfect in 20 minutes. Then what you got to do is you got to take the lid off and let it sit for 5, so that the starches can kind of gelatinize, so that the rice won't stick. But it's my favorite method. It really brings out the flavor, especially of long grain rices like jasmine. What's something savory I can make with a big butternut squash that you have? Well, the problem by savory, I guess you're meaning not dessert. I really like just cutting it up and roasting it. I really do. People forget how just delicious it is when it's roasted. So I would cut it up into wedges, leave the peel on, roast it at 350 to 400 degrees until it's tender, and you literally eat it off of the skin, like you're eating watermelon. People ask me about the Screaming Goat toys all the time. I don't have any on the bus. They all got moved. They were all at the loft, and Elizabeth moved us into our forever home, which we've just moved into, and so she's got them all. How long does it take you to come up with a recipe for your website? It depends. Recipe development's really kind of all over the place. It's like sometimes you get an idea. You get an idea for a dish, or it also depends on whether a version of it already exists. Like, I try not to spend too much time inventing recipes. I rather figure out better ways to make recipes. Like, I'm not going to come up with like a new noodle dish, but I'll try to come up with a better pad thai, if you get my drift. And so it depends on how much I can work out on paper. I work out everything on paper first, best I can, and then test the first version. And I usually can pull off something by the third version, third cook. Sometimes it takes me 4. I have some that works with me in the kitchen now, which is very useful, because the worst thing about developing and testing your own recipe is you perpetuate the same problem, or you very often perpetuate the same mistake. Like, whether it's it's usually like a technique thing. So having somebody else run it for you. So I will never run the recipe first. I will write it, get it on paper, and then give it to this person to cook the first time, and then I'll cook it. Because if something's going to go really wrong, odds are that person, it will show itself in that version, not in the version that I would do, because I will sometimes take it to it or forget to take into account certain things because of just my natural cooking tendencies. My cat likes your voice. Laugh out loud. Okay. Wait, what is your favorite brand of fish sauce? I'm a Redboat guy. I know there's a lot more, but I really like Redboat. Did you like The Bear on Hulu? I've never watched an episode of it. Culinary fiction shows stress me out. Really stress me out, especially if they're about restaurants. I can't. You getting paid for this? What a joke to say that. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm doing this because I'm sitting on a bus and I'm bored. And you guys are like fun to talk to. I'm getting paid for this. I'm not even monetizing this. Shut the hell up. Why no book signing in Virginia? Well, I guess we couldn't find a bookstore in Virginia. And on top of that, okay, so we played Norfolk, but we couldn't find a bookstore to do there. In Washington, D.C., we can't, because we're doing a double show. So we can't do one there. Although we are doing a double show in Chicago, and we're doing a signing there. But that's because Williams-Sonoma will let us do it at 11 in the morning. So there you go. We love talking to you too. Thank you. Any idea what happened to the Neapolitan pizza recipe on your website? We can't find it anymore. That's because I took it down, because I came up with a better recipe and I didn't want the other one up there. So the recipe that you would replace that with, sorry, I'm going to jump over to my website. Hold on. That's not how you spell out. Hold on. I'll tell you the one to use instead. I don't like the functionality of my website. So I would say, wait a second. Fuck. Last pizza dough. There's the last pizza dough recipe I'll ever need, but the actual recipe I'm looking for must only exist in a book. There's something weird, because the recipe that I really want, I don't see. I'm gonna have to get on that. So thank you for mentioning that. Clearly something has happened to one of my pizza recipes and it's fallen off the site, and it's the one I like the most. Can't spell your own name. Yeah, I can, but I'm tired and I'm on a typewriter, so I hit an S instead of an A. Do I really like Modelo Negra? Is that what I'm drinking? That's what was on the bus. What do you mean, do I really like it? It's beer, it's cold, it's going in my mouth. Do I really like it? I'm not advertising it, for fuck's sake. I'm drinking it on a bus. It's bus beer. Best Money Python. Anything with Spanish Inquisition. I have a strange feeling the lid is up today. No, lid is down. Look. Huh? Smarty pants? No, I would never do that. Even better, it's bus bathroom beer. Damn right. And it's fine. It's just like a Pilsner, right? I mean, it's just beer. This micro brew IPA. Sometimes you just want a beer. I look handsome tonight, really? Well, thank you. It's been difficult to watch my crazy professor image. That's me. That is who I am. I've reached that point in my life and my age where I can now be the crazy professor. Remember the crazy motherfucker professor in Metropolis? That's me now. Doc Brown, me now. That's what age does to you. I'm 62, for God's sakes. Keep that in mind. Enjoy your beverage. Thank you. What languages do I speak? Most of them badly, including English. I used to get by with French relatively well. I'm taking Italian lessons right now because my daughter's marrying an Italian, and when I'm getting ready to go to Japan, I can properly pronounce and I memorize about 50 phrases. But as soon as I leave Japan, I forget them, and that's it. I have always had a very bad ear for languages. I can learn to read them, and I can learn to speak them, but I cannot hear them, which is a real problem. And it's one of the things that I most wish. Favorite bottle from Woodinville, or something you want to try from them. I like all the Woodinville bourbons. Their barrel strength is really nice, and I think that they've got. I'm not a big fan of cask, like sherry cask type stuff. Of course, you can't do that with bourbon. You have to age bourbon in American new charred American oak. So I guess I must be the barrel strength one that I like, but I water it down a little bit. Do I prefer metric or imperial measurement? I prefer weight. And when I weigh things, I want to weigh things in grams because I don't like fractions and I don't like decimals. So the way I roll is I roll metric weight for everything, but Fahrenheit for temperature, because there are more degrees, like 1 to 100 or 0 to 100, is the range from freezing to boiling in Celsius, but that's 32 to 212 in Fahrenheit. So I consider it more precise because there's less space in between the more degrees. So I go grams and I go Fahrenheit. I am a Leo. Yeah, 730. And my wife would tell you that I'm like the poster Leo. Everything, but only the bad things. Ego and stuff like that. You're excited about your new home extraordinarily. So I love this house very, very much. And it's really nice to be down in Atlanta proper now, which we are. There's a cruise in October. Yes, in October of this year, I am doing a cruise. A bunch of culinary people are doing the cruise. I'm just one of them. I've never been on a cruise ship in my life, so that should be interesting. Hopefully, I won't throw up all over the food. What's a typical day like on tour? Well, if you really want to know, we typically, we roll at night, and very often we try to time our arrival so that we're getting someplace or at 7 a.m, is when we typically do load in. So we'll if the drive isn't that far, like say it's only maybe 4 or 5 hours, we'll very often wait and depart later so that we don't arrive super early in a place because that causes more problems sometimes. And then so we do load in for the whole morning, and then load in and building the show. There's depending on where we are, there will be a break, a mandatory, usually a union required break for the local crew people. And then there'll usually be lunch at either 12 or 1, depending on when the day starts. Then there's work as needed, typically between like 2 and 4. Then the dinner will usually be sometime like 5 to 6, and then that'll also be a time where the deck is dark, where you can't go on stage. It's a rule. Then we have what's called show call. Typically it's 6. If it's a 7:30 show, it's 6. Then I do my VIP event at 6:30. House opens at 7. Show starts at 7:30. It's a 2-hour show, and then we load out. So that's like that's every day. Every day. Favorite Korean dish, bibimbap. Bibimbap for sure. Nice pocket square. Thank you. I wear this one a lot because my wife gave it to me. It's from Japan. It's got like badass like samurai shit going down all over it. I see this guy. This guy's like killing a giant snake. So I wear it a lot. So I like Japan. And I like being there with her. How was the show tonight? Tonight was great. Greenville's always a really good crowd, and it's a nice theater. Wait, things are going too fast. What's your favorite Toho Godzilla movie? Barring 1954 and -1. Oh, hell. I guess I'm going to go Mothra. Or Destroy All Monsters. That's Toho. Might be Destroy All Monsters. That one's pretty good. Who makes the best Chicago hot dogs? New York or San Francisco? That's funny. Chicago makes the best Chicago hot dogs. I can't believe we're even talking about that. So many questions. No, somebody said Mothra. Yeah, Mothra. I don't know why I like Mothra so much. I mean, he's really a shit kaiju, you know? It's not, it's a fucking moth. It's a big moth, but a moth with attitude. I don't know why I like that one so much. I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I adore Godzilla. But really only the Toho iterations. I'm not fond of the American versions of Godzilla. And I do think the -1 is absolutely just freaking wonderful. Joe's. I have been to Trader Joe's, but I don't get the mystique. I'm going to admit. My wife really likes Trader Joe's. I'm just not like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just not like, oh my God, Trader Joe's. Favorite comfort food? I don't know. Cheese. Any plans on returning to Dragon Con? They haven't asked me. They didn't invite me. Have you had whole donuts in Asheville? No, I've not. Never had them. What makes them so good? I don't know. I've never had them. I'll have to go back to Asheville. I hope that they're getting back on their feet because there's a lot of really good food, a lot of good folks. And Asheville, I know they had a tough time after the storms. Moths are notorious for their PO. Well, they're also notorious for chewing up your pantry and a lot of things like that. You miss Elizabeth's flower arrangement. So do I, although sometimes having sticks constantly piercing my flesh are not. Can you get a tour of the bus? I would give a tour to the bus, but there are other people on the other side of this door. Well, there probably aren't yet. What's next door is the bunkhouse. So if I push this button, bunks, 4 of them, and then the door to the salon, as it's called. I'll just close that now in case. All the doors are automatic on the bus. It's like Star Trek, except they don't go, which kind of sucks. I should talk to Shatner about that. Yeah, I got stuck in the auto door once. We all have. All right, slow down, folks. Favorite horror movie? So my daughter and I have this conversation because my daughter's a huge horror buff, and she can take stuff I can't. I'm a tenderfoot and tend towards. I subdivide things so much into genres, and I'm like, well, what are we really talking about? What is a horror movie? I mean, it's like my favorite ghost story movie is The Changeling with George C. Scott, which is one of the creepiest movies ever made. But and then there's like possession stuff, and I still say that you can't beat The Exorcist for that. And then there's psychological, like horror where you're not actually even sure there is a monster, in which case, the Babadook wins. For that, I don't like blood and guts. And so there's like really great horror movies. It's like I'll probably never see them again. It's like I think Event Horizon with Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne's an amazingly effective horror film. But I hope to never see it again. I'm a fan of the original Alien trilogy, but only one of those is a horror film. I might actually say that Alien is my favorite horror movie of all time. It was a monster movie, not necessarily a horror movie. We have to get into all these subclassifications, so it's really hard to say. Your first memory of being alive is watching Good Eats and being a baby. Thank you. That's pretty cool. The one that really scared me as a kid was the original version of The Haunting. Certainly, absolutely true. And I'm very affected by haunted house and haunting things, which is why The Changeling, I think, is Kirk or Picard. I'm going Kirk because I know Bill Shatner and I like him. Not that I don't. Did you go into the interview with Esther Choi planning to be an agent of chaos? I wasn't an agent of chaos. I was a perfect gentleman and a good guest on her show, Heat Eaters. I was not an agent of chaos. I think that's a terrible thing to say. I was a gentleman. Everything went completely according to my plans. Would you give gear for your kitchen the reloaded treatment? Yeah, that's really past due. I wonder if there's a market for it. I would do that. Speaking of horror movies, you ever seen an Anthony Hopkins movie called Magic, where he plays a ventriloquist and his dummy's named Fats? It's a terrifying movie. Yes, do we think Jaws is a horror film? I think it's a buddy film with a shark. Oh, things are going so fast. Feast on Asphalt was awesome. Thank you. I would love to do that again. I don't do dummies. Yeah, dummies are. I always wanted to do a ventriloquism act where the dummy's mute. Doesn't say shit. I think it'd be hilarious. Also, Wait Until Dark. Yeah. You love magic. Good taste. Remember, Fat says, get a knife. No clowns. Yeah, clowns are so scary that they're not scary anymore. Although, what the one that was season 1 of American Horror Story, that was a bad one. That was worse than it, I think. Chucky's not scary. You're right. If Alien is horror, so is Jaws. You're right. They're basically the same movie. No, they're not the same movie. If they were, it's funny. What Richard Dreyfuss must be Jonesy. That's funny. Do you think? Wait. Why are you asking me complex political questions? You're trying to bait me. See, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get me to say something that you find objectionable so that you can go tell other people that agree with you that I said something objectionable. Fuck off. Really. There's this thing called life. Try getting that. I'm not rising to that bait. It's stupid. Jarvis and the Goodbye Girl. Goodbye Girl is kind of a horror movie too. Tips for making ramen at home. Look, ramen's easy, but you've got to make the broth. Okay, you've got to make a concentrated, strong, earthy broth. It's going to take a lot of meat, and let me tell you something else. It's going to take a fuck ton of salt. That's something that a lot of people, home ramen makers, don't like to deal with. Getting noodles, getting fresh ramen noodles is easy if you're in a place like New York or New Jersey because there's several companies that make them. I prefer when I make it at home. When I do it in Atlanta, I have to use frozen, which isn't bad. I've made ramen noodles once. This was quite an endeavor. So I usually get frozen from a Japanese market near where I live. But it really does come down to the broth above all. Do I still talk or work with some of the people who worked on Good Eats? A lot of them. A lot of them are now on this bus with me. Several of them, including my propsman, Todd Bailey, who's worked on every single episode of Good Eats with me, and another guy named James Pace, who has worked with me 20 years on that. What's my favorite dessert? Basque cheesecake, and mint chip ice cream, and coconut cake, and chocolate eclairs, and gingerbread cookies, and coffee ice cream, affogato, oh, affogato, Scottish shortbread, shoved into butter pecan ice cream, eggnog frozen into ice cream. I'm sorry. What were we talking about? Hot or cold banana pudding? Both. I love banana pudding, and I like them both. I like the kind that just sets in a bowl, that you serve cold. It's got to be packed full of vanilla wafers. The problem is Nabisco doesn't make decent vanilla wafers anymore, and that's a fact. So you got to make the vanilla wafers yourself. That takes time, but that's the way that it's got to be done. Mint chip ice cream, yes. And it's funny, mint chip ice cream, I adore it so much, and there's so many different brands, and I keep coming back. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I keep coming back to Haagen-Dazs because it's the chip size. There's something about the crunchiness of the chip size, and I know Haagen-Dazs isn't great ice cream. It's just not, but I really, really like that. Great vanilla wafers come from Slayton Bakery in Slayton, Texas. I have heard this before. I need to go find these because somebody that I've worked with it's like a town 50 miles to the other side of Slayton, who mentioned growing up with these wafers. So somebody's got to send me like a picture or a link or something like that. Yeah, mint chocolate chip. It's fucking bomb. I don't like any Ben & Jerry's ice cream. I don't know why. They used to Ben & Jerry's used to make it. They made an ice cream called Super New York Chunk Fudge and Cherry Garcia. I'm not a Grateful Dead fan, but I like Cherry Garcia because I like chocolate covered cherries a lot. But I never seem to really get with their base. I've never really thought that it was great. You know what I want? I want a really great ice cream with malted milk balls in it. And somebody used to make one that had Whoppers in it, and I haven't had that in years. Alfredo, roux or no roux? I roux. I roux my Alfredo. Not gonna lie. Duke's mayonnaise is awesome. It's the only mayonnaise you need. Although Kewpie is nice to keep around for certain jobs. Who does make a solid ice cream then? Shit. Let me get back to you. I'm all over the place with ice cream right now because I know a lot of brands that have changed up recipes lately, and it's shaken me to my core. Maybe I need to start doing food review shows on YouTube where I taste three things that are supposed to be the same in a row. Would you guys trust my taste buds on that? If I did a taste test of 3 different mint chips, and I did 3 instant ramens, and I did 3, I don't know, Mexican beers. I may do that. Grew up calling it chippermint. That's fantastic. I love that. Grilled cheese. Wait. Where did it go? This popped and something went. Damn it. It'll pop. Favorite cheese to melt on stuff. Tillamook cheddar. If I could co-host a show with someone, who would you have as your co-host? Sorry. I don't know. I've got to think about that. It depends on what the show is about. Try Howlin' Cow in Raleigh. Well, I'm going to be in Raleigh soon. I have a book event in Raleigh in a week. Where is that? Hold on. That's in what's the name of the store in Raleigh? On Raleigh. Quail Ridge Books, March 1st, 12 to 2 p.m. In Raleigh. So I will be. I'll be there. You would watch that? No. Somebody's saying no Hellmann's. No, comment Hellmann's. No, that means you want Hellmann's. I'm not a Hellmann's fan. I like Duke's because of the added apple cider vinegar. If I use Hellmann's, I have to monkey with it. I have to mess with it. Homemade ice cream, hard to argue with it. I'm a big fan of that. But there's also I'm also really a big fan of custards like Ted Drew's, with the concretes. I could go for one of those so bad. Aldine's is a good ice cream, and Aldine's has a good mint chip. It's got a little too much overrun for my liking. Of course, overrun is the amount of air you're allowed to whip an ice cream. In the United States, you can whip 100% of the volume. So, like if you've got a quart of ice cream, you can whip enough air into it to make it half a gallon of ice cream. And they've got a little too much in there. It's like if you melt down a quart of their mint chip, it's like a pint. Maybe not literally, but it's not much. But the flavor is good, and the chip distribution is also good. So Aldine's is good. Cardboard cutout Taylor Swift, yeah, great. Blue Bunny, yeah, it's good. It's better than Blue Bell, I think, which is not ice cream but gelato. It's funny that people think that gelato is fattier than ice cream. It is not. Technically, an ice cream is not made with gelato is made with usually a lighter milk product, but it's turned slower, so it has less overrun, less air in it, and so it tastes creamier because of that. But it does not actually have like cream in it, or more fat. I mean, by volume it does because it's not got so much air in it, and it's slow churned. So yeah, I will default to gelato almost every time. Are you in Salt Lake City? Oh, you're talking to somebody else, not to me. Okay. Yes, do food reviews. All right, fine. Graders. My wife is a huge fan of graders. I like it. I like it, but I think you've got to grow up with it, which I didn't. She loves that stuff. Duke's ice cream. We're going to make Duke's mayonnaise into ice cream. Don't think I won't do it. Don't think I won't do that. Blue Bunny. Yeah, okay. A lot of you guys like Blue Bunny. I haven't had it in a while. I don't have a favorite Pokemon because I'm not a 4-year-old. When was the last time I went fishing? It's been about 3 years. Which is a shame. Because my wife and I own a lake cabin. Like, get out and go fish, dumbass. Favorite omelet. I made it on stage tonight. It's 18 inches long, requires 12 eggs, has cheddar cheese, pickled jalapenos, and raw green onions topped with a sauce of mayonnaise, ketchup, and sriracha, and then parsley. I also like mushrooms. Long's Donuts in Indianapolis, cash only. I'll be there. I've got a show in Indianapolis, and I am jonesing for a donut in a really big way. I adore donuts, especially when they're well made by small shops, so I'll get on that. What do you usually do after your shows? Do you explore the town you're in or just decompress on your bus? I don't go out much because I'm afraid of getting hurt or sick. I'm paranoid about that. So I tend to spend most of my time on the bus because if something happens to me, I get sick or I get hit by a car, people don't get paid because there won't be a show. So I tend to stay on the bus. We have things brought in, but I may have insulted if the whole state of Texas has their entire identity caught up in Blue Bell ice cream. They need to reconsider because they've got the best of so much. But no, I am going to say that Blue Bunny is better than Blue Bell. And if Texas is pissed off at me, well then, okay. And I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying that I'm not going to eat the Blue Bell. I will totally eat all the Blue Bell. Does the band play on stage during the tour? Not anymore. We only do one song, and it's just me and my percussionist. And that's because the demo device that we have on stage with us in the second act takes up so much room on the truck that we didn't have room for band equipment. And so I was not able to bring out a band this time, which I hate. Oh, Kalispell is the spot because we're playing Kalispell. I've never played Kalispell, but knowing that there's a place called the Spot that is the best donuts, then I will absolutely freaking be there. Best wing sauce. You take your favorite hot sauce, you mix it with ranch, then you pour in some melted butter, and you're done. That's it. That's all you gotta do. It's fun. Best New York City cocktail bar. I can't. There's too many. I can't pick one. I will say that I really love the martinis at the Grill up on Park Avenue. But that's not a cocktail bar. There's too many. There's too many good ones. I mean, and there's great cocktails all. my favorite cocktails in New York are at a restaurant up on 75th East 75th Street. It's like a Meiji period Japanese restaurant called NR, like the letters NR. They make this stuff called caviar and uni dry ramen, and some of the most inventive and just delicious cocktails in New York City. Not terribly expensive. They make one. I'm not usually big for gimmicks, but they make one called the Smoke. That is a smoked cocktail. It's fucking nuts. Nuts. Does fruit belong on pancakes? If you like fruit on pancakes, definitely belongs on waffles because like blueberries fit inside the little holes. Tim loves Dirty Love Burger. Don't know it, but I want it. Just made homemade cinnamon buns, but they seem a little dry. What could I do? Well, that sounds like it could be an issue regarding the ratio of fats to sugar. Sugar, of course, being hygrogamic is fuck, like sugar. Will help to hold in moisture, but then fat is also a really big part of that. So I'd have to see the recipe, and if it's my recipe, I'm sorry. Pepperidge Farm Chessman butter cookies are supposed to be great in banana pudding. Yes, so are ladyfingers, the kind that you would use in tiramisu. That's an Armagnac? Yes, please. I adore Armagnac and cognac, but Armagnac most. Krebs Donuts when in Milwaukee. I also like Cranky Al's. I like Cranky Al's a lot. They make Dunkin' sticks there that I've actually sent off for and had them ship them to me. They're so freaking good. That's in Milwaukee. I love Cranky Al's. Is the unitasker rule the number one Brown rule? No, it is not. The number one rule is read the recipe. That's the number one. Do I listen to K-pop? Nope. Okay, you say Cranky House is good. Hello, Elizabeth, if you're there. She's not. She's at home. She's at home in Atlanta. Tending the home, working a couple of jobs, and dealing with dogs. Bottle of ramp wine. What the heck should you do with it? I have only heard of ramp wine and have never tasted it, so I can't give you any advice. I would say drink it carefully, though, because it can be really strong. My cousin makes a banana pudding from scratch, including the wafers. So do I. It's the way to do it. Do I enjoy the Great British Baking Show? I did for a while. I did. How are the dogs, by the way? They're good. All three of them. Best non-alcoholic. Well, I know a lot of people who are not alcoholics. I can't say that I know one that's the best of the people that I know that aren't alcoholics. And I also know some alcoholics that are really nice people. But I can't say who my favorite non-alcoholic is. I'm sorry. Do I do Starbucks? No, I like coffee way too much to drink at a Starbucks. I have not been to a Starbucks in at least 5 years. I think the coffee sucks. I think the beans are burned. I think it's badly made. To me, if Starbucks all disappeared, tomorrow would be a cause for great celebration. Do I have a favorite ice cream? Yeah, mint chip. Absolutely mint chip. Viennese coffees. I like Viennese coffee shops and I like Viennese coffee styles. You got to get the roast right. The brewing is not as easy as you think it is. And above all, the dairy has to be right because that's a big thing with Viennese coffee, schlag and whatnot. You've got to have real quality dairy to pull that off. Yeah, Starbucks is undrinkable. What phone do I use? I have two of them. I have two. I have a burner. I have a little bitty iPhone 13 mini that's like a burner phone. Burner meaning I don't have like my social media stuff on it. And then I think I've got a 12 Pro, 11 Pro. What I really want though is I want just a phone. I want to push buttons again so bad, like the good old days. I want to be able to just pick up a phone, flip it open, push some numbers, and talk to somebody. I'm sick of smartphones. I hate them so much. I really hate smartphones. Despise them. But I got them. Have I tried boba tea? Yeah, I love boba tea. It's fun. Great contrast of textures and flavors. You missed the slide out keyboards. Yeah. I remember I love typing on Blackberries. I don't know what unishooters are. What's a unishooter? I don't know what that is. audiobook of the new book is fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much. I worked hard on that. I really do appreciate that. When I'm in Cleveland, make sure I try Mitchell's ice cream. It's 5 minutes from Playhouse Square. Hands down the best ice cream ever. All right, you're on. I'll be there. I will definitely check it out. I don't know the best restaurant in Tucson because every time I play Tucson, we have to get in and out very quickly. I don't know why. You have chicken legs in your fridge. What should you cook? Well, you could fry them. You could oven roast them. You can braise them. You can chop them up in pieces and make stew out of them. Thighs are better. But chicken, but legs taste good. I like the food in Portland, Oregon. There's a lot of great food there. My favorite Russian restaurant in the United States used to be there, but I don't know if it still is. You're a sherbet girl. I'm trying to remember last time I had sherbet. Interesting history, Persian. Will I ever make another music video again? I don't know, maybe. Scrapple, love that. What is Scab's favorite treat? Peanut butter. Peanut butter pretzels. That would actually be her favorite treat. So the people next door, the people on the other side of this door are getting ready to go to bed. So I have to sign off now. I hear them in there and I don't want to make them mad. So I'm going to sign off. I know it's only been 46 minutes, but I'll see you guys again tomorrow night and I'll try to get on earlier. We had a hard load out. So I gotta go, but I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Okay. I'm going to end this. Thanks. Love you all. Bye.